Monster Scout, depending on what you like to use, depending on your playstyle, it's borderline a must-have. Each season, you kind of weed through which weapons are worth grinding for, going for. Usually there's 2 to 3, 3 to 4. I feel like this is one of them. I've played a lot with it so far. I have a lot to show you. There's a lot to talk about with these perks, a lot to talk about, and some perks are very surprising on it. I want you to see them, so when you get it to drop, consider them. Long Arm is a first of its kind, the first legendary 120 RPM Scout, the legendary Dead Man's Tale. Even better, it's in the energy slot as Arc. I farmed it for about 7 hours. I got some of the rolls I wanted to show, but before we get into it, we have an awesome sponsor for today's video, Gel Blaster. The holidays are right around the corner, and Gel Blasters are new revolutionary toy blasters that blast non-toxic, eco-friendly gellets. It's recommended ages 14 and up, and I wish this was around when I was growing up, opposed to something like airsoft or paintball, because these gellets are eco-friendly. Safe for the environment, safe for people, safe for pets, non-toxic, natural, and non-irritating. These Gel Blasters are a fun, safe, and affordable way to go outside and have a blast. They offer various models, but today I want to focus on the next generation of blasters from the Gel Blaster team, the Surge XL. These have a lithium-ion battery, they're USB charged, so it comes with a charger. There's an LED indicator to show you when the charge is getting low. There's an attachable stock, 10,000 eco-friendly gellets, and of course, safety glasses. To get started, fill up a 1-gallon container with water, pour in some gellets, wait at least 2 hours. They hydrate, they grow, and then they're ready to go inside the hopper. Or even better, you can put them in the Gellet Depot, designed to hold and hydrate with easy dispensing. The Surge XL has 3 firing modes, single, full auto, and a 3-burst with adjustable strength. There's a velocity dial that adjusts the blaster power from 170 FPS to an astonishing 250 feet per second. During and after play, the gellets leave no mess or residue. They disintegrate on impact, begin to dehydrate, and in about 15 minutes after impact, all evidence of the battle is gone. Again, nothing like airsoft or paintball. They're really fun, so go check out Gel Blaster Surge XL and the other models in the link down below right at the top of the description. And again, thank you so much to Gel Blaster for sponsoring today's video. You can obtain Long Arm one of 2 ways. First, in the first chest of the new dungeon, easily farmable. Even if you completed the dungeon, you can still farm encounters to get new loot. With 2 players, we were doing a run in like under 2 minutes. It feels like it takes longer to get back to the checkpoint than to farm it. Now, the second way is a random drop at the end of the dungeon for the final boss. Good way to farm the sidearm and other things too. This is an excellent scout. Keyword there, scout. Though it feels like DMT, reloads like DMT, acts like DMT, it does not have the sauce that DMT has. Here's the roles that you're going to be seeing. We have Rapid Hit Dragonfly, Hipfire Adrenaline Junkie, Hipfire Explosive Payload, Rapid Hit Explosive Payload, and Compulsive Reloader Opening Shot. And actually, I want to start there, because when you look at the perk pool, in column 3, we have Compulsive Reloader, Rapid Hit Under Pressure, Hipfire Grip, Wellspring, and Subsistence. 4th column, Redirection, Adrenaline Junkie, Dragonfly, Opening Shot, High Impact Reserves, Explosive Payload. In the background is the base reload. So if it drops for you, do not be upset with Compulsive Reloader. They buffed it big time, and Long Arm is a weapon that greatly benefits from it, and now remains active until half the ammo. Like, I feel Compulsive Reloader is a top 3 in this column. That sounds super crazy, but check it out. Since it reloads 2 in the mag, if you have a 14-round mag, the top half is lightning fast. And the cool part, because of how it reloads. If you go beyond half the magazine, it will reload regular, and once it gets to half, it goes Mach speed. And the role I have is Compulsive Reloader Opening Shot. PvP-wise, straight up, this is the most aggressive perk. It is. It's great. Get into a duel, reload, onto the next, running around, getting shots off. It has like near an outlaw scaler. So now's a good time to actually talk about the origin trait. I hate it. It feels like it procs what it wants to. It's not that good. Text balanced stock. Damaging targets while firing from the hip increases reload, handling, and movement speed while aiming down sights. The perk has a mind of its own. Like in this clip, how can I hip fire 2 shots, get the perk to proc, get a reload in, seconds later, literally the next engagement, get 2 hip fire shots off and it not proc? Or even better, how could I be at 25, 26 meters and literally hip fire a 3-tap, which by the way is very difficult with this thing, and not get it to proc? Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2, 3, 4 shots. And the worst part, it doesn't last very long. Like after you get the hip fire, you make a decision because it only lasts for like 2-3 seconds. Do I use this perk for the reload? Do I try to aim down sights and find a target to get better movement speed while aiming down sights, better handling? It doesn't feel good. You can't feel good about it because all I know in general, the hipfire on this thing just leaves little to be desired. It goes both ways, like the reliability of the origin trait, the reliability and the effectiveness of hipfire. I'm gonna talk about hipfire a little bit more in a moment. But as far as Compulsive Reloader, it's a perfect situation for Long Arm. In the Crucible, it's one of my favorite roles because of how fast I can throw out ammo. And in PvE, that's beneficial too. So if you pair it with Redirection, just mow down red bars, fast reloads, get the stacks up, that way you can attack yellow bars. Explosive Payload, which this is a scout. Scouts are routinely on the artifact. When it comes to Explosive Payload, it's a top perk on a scout rifle. when it comes to champions. So let's go ahead and talk about that for a moment. If you get something like Compulsive Reload or Explosive Payload, I would keep it because you're able to really get through ammo. No real downtime with getting damage off. And Explosive Payload, really good for stunning champions. Or for PvE, it would be something like Subsistence Redirection, Subsistence Adrenaline Junkie, Subsistence Explosive Payload. There's Dragonfly, they buffed it. I do have Rapid Hit Dragonfly. You can pair Explosive Wellmaker with that. Charge mods. If you're on Arc, you can get amplified very easily. Start getting some traces coming back. I do wish that this thing had Vorpal, but with the perks that it has, with how fast you can spam abilities, like Adrenaline Junkie is really good. Redirection can work. Explosive Payload is going to be top notch. I went over the Doom not too long ago. I haven't leveled it up to do champion content, but this is usually my main champion scout. It is so good. It's incredible. But as far as Arc, the Explosive Payload Long Arm is going to get some play. Next, let's get into Hipfire. I'm on controller and I've landed shots. It feels 50-50. Like I said, it just doesn't have the sauce of DMT. It doesn't. It feels like you're noticeably at a disadvantage in two ways. One, not getting the Origin perk to proc, and two, it's just not reliable. And I've heard a lot of M&K friends say it doesn't feel reliable there either. Things like Syncopation, other perks with Hipfire feel a lot better. I don't know what it is with this thing. It feels like it prioritizes body shots instead of crits. And everything about this weapon says Hipfire is the top option, but it is not. I don't think that it is at all. Because the truth is, like, especially in PvP, Explosive Payload is a better Hipfire perk than Hipfire Grip, because Explosive Payload is like throwing t-shirts out of a t-shirt cannon. They're massive, massive projectiles. And they connect a lot better than Hipfire Grip. So in theory, if you do want to go that route for the Crucible, Hipfire Explosive Payload is great. You might be thinking Hipfire Opening Shot because of accuracy. I don't think that that's the play. I would put on targeting on your helmet, that way you can't get the accuracy that way, and I would go Hipfire Explosive Payload over Opening Shot. I want to take a moment to talk about two perks that I don't have, but it's critical. It's very important. Under Pressure, High Impact Reserves, third column and fourth column. Because of how this thing reloads, if you're able to get a roll, especially with like extended mag backup, you can get to 20 rounds. So you can burn 20 rounds down to 10 and have those benefits of Under Pressure that gives massive accuracy, have the benefits of High Impact Reserves, which gives more damage. But even if you don't pair those together, it's still good, because if you're going to get down to 10 and do something like Under Pressure Opening Shot for massive accuracy, Under Pressure Explosive Payload, it's going to be great. The other way, Rapid Hit High Impact Reserves. You're able to get crits, you're doing more damage, you're loading in the 10 rounds necessary that's under the mag a little bit faster. So those are really good options, because how this thing kind of functions, you can get down halfway to the mag, and that's what I would recommend if you do get a roll like that and abuse those great benefits from Under Pressure. And then we have something like Rapid Hit Explosive Payload. I like this one a lot because essentially more stability, faster reload, and you're flinching your targets. You're able to do splash damage on the ground. You're able to hip fire really, really well because of that combination. I think this thing can be used in both areas of the game. I personally believe that for PvE, Explosive Payload is S tier, and it's also S tier in the Crucible. So if you're only looking for one roll, Explosive Payload in the fourth is going to be your best bet. But when we look back to the left side, PvE and the Crucible, there's a debate for Rapid Hit. There's a debate for Wellspring, Compulsive Reloader, Subsistence. Like I said, don't sleep on Compulsive Reloader. It's actually really jacked on this thing. What I plan to do, as crazy as it sounds, my ideal PvE role is Compulsive Reloader, Explosive Payload. That way I'm able to stun champions, it does well, and I'm able to get out a whole bunch of damage on ads and yellow bars with Compulsive Reloader. Secondarily, I would like to try Redirection with either Subsistence or Compulsive Reloader. Dragonfly is okay, small section for that. I have this role, I'm never going to use it. But now I want to talk about Adrenaline Junkie. Now, Adrenaline Junkie is a dream on Warlock. It's a dream on a lot of classes, because if you're going to use, like, let's say the Secant Filaments, when you pop a Rift, you have an easy 1 crit 2 body from the Rift, but since you have Adrenaline Junkie ×1 in the Rift, you're now 2 tapping. You also have Devour procced. It's really, really good on Voidlock. And as far as more damage, using something like Controverse Hold, using something like just Devour in general, can get that grenade back a ton. If you were to switch to Arc, there's a ton of ways you can get Arc 3.0 going. You're gonna have traces coming back to you. You're gonna have Phantom Might. You're gonna have a whole bunch of things. So Adrenaline Junkie is a play. So as far as the ranking of Adrenaline Junkie, I would put it in the top 3 for PvE, top 2 for the Crucible. Because when it comes to the Crucible, Dragonfly, High Impact Reserves, Opening Shot, Redirection, not so much. You're gonna get the most bang for your buck out of Adrenaline Junkie and Explosive Payload. That's where I would go for PvP. And what's nice, that doubles for PvE as well. So even though this thing sucks from the hip, that's the only way to put it. It isn't reliable, the origin trait doesn't work right. It is a great scout rifle. It has a place as arc, it has a place as a champion weapon, and in PvE you can be in the back doing heavy damage. It has 100 impact, and in the Crucible, it excels at its range. This scout versus other players, you're extremely hard to deal with past their effective range. They would need a scout as well. Playing some of these maps like Vostok, Disjunction, if you get on them and they don't have a scout, you will outduel them. It has the range, it has the flinch, it has everything that you need. It's a great scout. What's nice, it's easily farmable, and again, I think it's one of the top 3, top 4 chases of the season. Bring it out on long maps, it's got a 1.8 times zoom. It can duel in short to mid range, but it excels at long range. It has a longer TTK. It's a great team shot weapon. You should be using it exclusively in the scout playstyle. That's where it's going to excel. But I want to hear your thoughts on it. I've heard a lot of different things. The general consensus is the hipfire is bad. I agree. It is not good. I would not use it that way. I wouldn't burn a perk for hipfire grip in the third column for the hipfire. That being said, there's a ton of great options for this scout. And even perks that you think wouldn't be too good are actually really great on it. So when it drops, give it a shot. You might just like it. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Let's talk about long arm down below. How do you think it feels? How do you think it performs? What roles are you liking? Thank you for watching. And until the next one, I am CoolGuy.